Welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs channel. Happy Friday, probably early afternoon, mid-afternoon, somewhere around that time you'll see this. I hope the day has been good to you. It's looking after you. You've enjoyed some sun. If you can, go and enjoy it. It's looking pretty gorgeous out there. Again, there is a window there. I'm not just looking at a wall for no reason, all right? In this video, though, we are talking some Ange quotes from when he was out in Melbourne. Talking about the summer transfer window, things happening in that regard, as well as this interesting report came out from Graham Belly on Rayan Cherki. So plenty to talk about, plenty to get into. Just want to say, though, if you're new, give subscribe. You're very much welcome to join us for the journey. And yeah, I have obviously as well, if you haven't seen it, I have previously released a video today where I talked about Callum Hudson-Odoi, Timo Werner, Forest kind of wanting to sell players because of financial fair play. Quite a really good video, quite a lot of detail in there. So go back, watch that if you've missed it, all right? And obviously let me know your thoughts. But in this one, though, we're talking some quotes from Ange Postecoglou. And there's a lot to kind of get through and sift through, but I'll just get right in there and get it done. Alistair Gold asked Postecoglou about Spurs getting transfers done early. He said, yeah, look, it is important. I think it works better. Last year, it certainly benefited us in having a couple of players in early to be with a whole squad. Again, looking at the schedule this year with international commitments, we're not going to let them all. We're not going to get them all back for the start of pre-season. But if we can get ones in early, it's easier said than done. Everyone wants to get business done early. Everyone is keen to bring players in, but the reality is that it takes a little bit of time. The good thing for us is that we know what we need to do. We have had the plan in place for a while, and it's just about now going through that process. So I'm just going to pause there because there is more to talk about, but I'm going to just pause about halfway through. I love this attitude, by the way. From any manager, I love this attitude because actually it puts pressure on your bosses. It puts pressure on the guys that have to go out and get you those players to kind of say, you're on the clock. Now it's time for you to do your job. I'm the manager. My season's done. I have no more games to manage. There is nothing else we need. We've already talked about the plans. We already know what we want to do. We already kind of know the positions that we're going to work in. We already have a list of the players that we're keen on. We also know who we want to get rid of. We know why we want to get rid of them. X, Y, and Z. Now, over to you. Ball's in your court. Now do your job. So Daniel Levy, Paratici, Johan Lang, Rob McKenzie, all those guys. Now it's your turn. We need to back a manager for the first time since, I don't know when the last time we actually truly backed a manager. Because people might say Andre Villas-Boas. He did only have that money because we sold Bale. So he was only, I wouldn't say he was truly backed. Poch went summers and Januaries without us signing a player. Conte was given players like Longley. Mourinho wasn't truly backed. Nuno probably wasn't backed because I don't think they truly thought he was going to last more than half an hour, and I think he lasted about 35 minutes in the role. And Ange, well, they sold Harry Kane. So we haven't truly backed a manager, and I want us to back a manager because I'm kind of fed up with this narrative of that manager's not good enough. That manager's not good enough. Get rid of them, get rid of them, get rid of them. And the common denominator is these players who have been, some of them around since Poch, through then Mourinho, Nuno, Conte, Mason, into Ange. Half of them shouldn't be here. They should be gone. And this is the summer now to kind of say, look, we don't need to muck around with financial fair play. We make loads of money. The stadium pays for itself. Just move them. Get them off the wage bill. If you have to take a few less quid than you normally would expect to, it's always smart. In regards to players in, I think Ange just put it out there because I think for a while at this club, we've always let it go weeks and weeks and weeks, hoping that we can squeeze the team out for an extra fiver. And by August 21st, we finally signed them. It shouldn't be like that. If we're serious about competing, we're serious about being a better team, we're serious about being, for Daniel Levy, being in the top four. If we're serious about that, we've got to act early, which I know he doesn't like. He doesn't like to do that. But we have people that work underneath them do want to do that. We have Johan Lang, we have Paratici who want to get business done early, who want to give Ange the best possible, chance to succeed. So Ange talked about other things. He said we're in Europe as well next year, so we'll have more games. It's definitely when he was asked about striker, the attacking area. He said it's definitely an area of the park we'll need to strengthen. Last year with Manor and Perisic, we were quite healthy in that front third in terms of numbers, but as the year went on, it became pretty evident that we need to bulk up. Also, he also asked Postecoglou about the attacking areas. He said, yeah, absolutely no secret. You saw the way we finished the season. We obviously lost Richie and Timo as well with injuries, but we're fairly light in that area. I love that as well. I think everyone kind of knows we're in for attackers. You know, is it a winger? Is it a striker? Is it a me? Are we getting me up front? You better pray we're not getting me up front. Okay, I'm rubbish. But you know, what is it we're doing? We're just looking at attackers. Be it broad, which I love because it means we're looking at more than one. Because I think we should be looking at least a winger and a striker. And the striker should be marquee as well. Don't go and get a guy who's got potential like an Alejo Valise. I love the Alejo Valise signing. But I also thought Harry Kane would be the guy there as well. So then he could learn off Harry Kane. That didn't happen. And then we loaned him out to Sevilla. And the politics of that club, the situation of that club was so toxic. Alejo was better off playing with the under-16s at Spurs. That's how bad it was at Sevilla. So I love these quotes. I love them so, so much. I think they're brilliant. I think they put the people who are higher up, who never have to answer to the media, they're on the clock. Now they're in the window, kind of people watching them, kind of going, well, come on then, let's go. Season's done. Let's get moving. Let's get acting. What we doing? You know, we lost out on Tosin Adarabioyo. We're not getting Lloyd Kelly. Calafiori's probably going to go to Juventus. What are we doing at centre-back? You talked about scouting all these strikers. Surely now you have a list of who you want as your number one. Let's go out there and see what we can do. You know, so I'm expecting, I mean, it's 24th of May. I'm expecting next week to see that we put some offers in. Or at least we're talking to agents or something. I don't want it to get to June 7th and we're talking to agents. No. Now. I want it now. Be proactive. Be smart. Right, let's talk about Rayan Cherki. So this was an interesting one, and it came from Graham Bailey, who said that Spurs are keeping tabs on Rayan Cherki from Lyon. Now, if you don't know who Rayan Cherki is, don't worry. Oh, Andy's here to help you out, okay? All right? So Rayan Cherki, he's 20 years old. He'll be 21 basically at the start of next season, August 17th, okay? Excuse me. He plays at Lyon. He's an attacking midfielder who can play a little bit of wing as well. He is quite both-footed, apparently. So you could, ambidextrous, would you call him? I don't know. His contract does expire next summer, which is quite a key bit of information. So we're going to hold on to that. We'll come back to it in a minute. Now, Lyon this season had a naff season. For the first 6 months, they weren't good. They weren't good, all right? And I think with Cherki, everyone kind of expected him to leave as well. He didn't get it. He then didn't start the season, playing and things like that. So this season, 38 games, 3 goals, 8 assists. So 11 goal contributions in 38 games. Look, he is technically very, very solid. Very, very solid. Very good. 20 years old. He's going to develop even more. Regular starter at Lyon normally. I think I wouldn't say look at him as a wing. I'd say look at him as an attacking midfielder. That's the way I would look at him. And with the fact that, like Ange said, we're going to be playing in Europe next year. So you're going to have Premier League, Europa League, FA Cup and the EFL Cup, which normally means you're playing at least 2 to 3 games every single week, right? Unless you get knocked out of cups and things like that. But let's just say Spurs have a decent cup run. I'm not saying we're going to win things. I'm just saying decent in terms of the EFL Cup and the FA Cup. It normally means you're playing 2 to 3 games a week, which means, like Ange said in the attacking area, you need to bulk up. All right? He's not talking about bodybuilding. He's not talking about Andy telling people what to do in the gym. He's not talking about me telling people what to eat, as that is technically my profession. But he's talking about bodies. And I always talked about bodies, and I always talk about quality bodies. I don't want just you and me sitting in the squad just because we're a bit cheaper and we can do that. I want to talk about the fact that we want players who are going to actually come in and help us. And Cherki would do that for sure. Gives Maddison pause for concern in terms of his role. He's not guaranteed you're starting every game, Madders, if you've got someone behind you who can play. what does it mean for Gallagher? What does it mean for Ederson? That's the other key thing. I think that is always something that might get in the way. You know, they have 1 year left on his contract with Cherki. Gallagher has 1 year left. Atalanta probably the strongest of all the teams who, you know, in terms of they own the player. You know, obviously Chelsea with Gallagher, Lyon with Cherki. Atalanta have the strongest position, you know, having Champions League football next year. They're probably going to sell Coop Miners. They don't need to sell Ederson. Chelsea need to sell Gallagher. Lyon are probably going to sell Cherki. Interesting. I'm very, very interested. But yeah, that is the end of the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Drop a like on the video. If you did, hit me in the comment section down below your thoughts and feelings about Rayan Cherki, and if you want him, if you don't want him, as to why you don't want him, all that jazz that I always want to do and have that conversation with you in the comments. Obviously, that, you know, give me your thoughts and feelings about Ange and his attitude towards this summer. You know, good, bad, or ugly, whatever you feel. Obviously, subscribe to the channel if you're new and hit the bell notification for more. Better, guys, end of the video. I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.